We now turn our focus to innovation by the JSE that is set to be paving the way for the listing of actively managed certificates. Head of Origination and Deals at the JSE, Sam Mokorosi, joins us for this conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Sam. And as my colleague Ayanda Nyati indicated earlier, I think we need to debunk really what these certificates are for and what is the significance of demand growing in this regard.
Thanks for having me, Tumisang. So actively managed certificates are really instruments that are listed on the JSE. So you and I can buy them through our stockbroker. And what they do is that it's a basket of assets. So these assets can be shares that have been specially chosen by an expert in the field, and so that expert believes that these 10 or 20 or 100 shares are going to be doing better over the next 5 years or so, and so they bundle them into a certificate, and then you and I can phone our stockbroker and say, I want that particular certificate, and I get the performance of whatever is in that basket of assets, shares, etc. So that really is what an actively managed certificate is.
And that's encouraging to hear when we speak of the demand that has been tracked as a recent trend, because it speaks to investor participation. And the reason why we would ask what the certificate is essentially to get even further traction on introducing those who may not know about this sort of trading, that you and I and everyone else is eligible to participate.
100%. And you know, part of the challenge with investing in shares for some of us who don't do it as a full-time job is that, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to analyze which shares or which investment instruments are going to go up and which ones have a higher risk, and so what products like actively managed certificates or even ETFs do is that they allow investors to get that exposure, and specifically from an actively managed certificate perspective, that exposure then allows you to get those specifically chosen instruments by professionals.
Now, with the innovation that is spoken of on the side of the JSE, just talk us through what exactly that has looked like, because catering to a market does not particularly speak to catering to a niche, like we indicated earlier. This is a market that anyone can participate in.
Yes, that's right. And, you know, we've seen good demand for these actively managed certificates around the world, especially in sort of the last 2 to 3 years, even through the pandemic. We've seen $1 trillion kind of issued and really invested in over the last little while. So this is brand new on the JSE, and so we're expecting that to show the same kind of appetite on the JSE. Again, you know, one of the important things here is that the product comes with liquidity. So, you know, you can wake up in the morning and phone your stockbroker, and most of us can get easy access to our stockbroker through our banks. Most of the banks have a stockbroking division. So you can phone your stockbroker in the morning, open up your account, and buy actively managed certificates in the morning. And in the afternoon, if you decide, well, maybe this wasn't for me, you know, the liquidity is there that you can actually phone your stockbroker again and sell your position there. So what's really important is the liquidity that allows you to kind of get in and get out. Of course, it's a regulated product, so this has been approved and regulated by both the JSE and the FSCA, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. And so you know that as an investor, you've got all the investor protections that come with the trading of and investment in securities on the JSE, and so you've got that level of comfort as an investor. The products also allow you to get access to both local assets as well as offshore assets. So if you want some exposure to mining companies in South Africa, or if you want exposure to tech companies in the US, just as an example, or property companies in South Africa, the products allow you to get that kind of varied exposure.
Absolutely exciting, and I'm interested in finding out the near-term outlook then with the growth that's been seen so far. What then is anticipated in the near-term future?
So the products are still new, but in terms of the appetite that we've seen in the market through market participants coming to us and looking to issue these, we expect good growth, good strength. In other kind of specialist products like exchange traded funds, for example, we've seen very kind of strong growth over the last few years, and we expect actively managed certificates to do just as well.
Thank you so much for your insights. That is Sam Mokorosi, head of Origination and Deals at the JSE, talking to us about actively managed certificates. Now we all know that you and I can go out there and get them. That's where we leave.